So the Democratic primary in California, my state, is taking place on June 7th, which is about 8 days from now. And for the life of me, I don't know who's going to win. And I'm not even going to make any predictions either. It could go either way, although based on the cynical state I'm in from events of yesterday and just before now, I'm leaning towards it going to Clinton, even though I really hope it doesn't. And that decision or that theory is based in the reality of her leading in every single poll that has come out as of late. Now, there are a few where there's two actually, where she's leading Sanders by 2 points, as opposed to 9 or 8 or some other large number that one would think he wouldn't be able to bridge the gap on. And what I think is really interesting is that I've noticed a number of older people around me who will say they support Clinton and younger people around me who say they support Sanders. And it's just really interesting how those trends work over here as well. Those same ones that people talk about as occurring in other states also apply to here. And what's worse is that you have a number of sources that go around and will say, oh, Clinton has the almost full backing of African Americans. Well, allow me to be the exception to the rule. It's just really incredible to me how she has all of this support from, again, African Americans, when I don't think she's done a single thing for them at all. Her or her husband, in fact. I'm still a super predator after all, so that's where my opinion originates from. But you also, in looking at these polls, have to keep aware of one thing. Literally every poll before Oregon showed Clinton with not only a lead, but a massive one at that. Sometimes over 10 points on Sanders, and he still won the state. And not in some narrow, thin, razor-sharp victory as she had in Kentucky and Iowa. And, arguably Illinois. But by a lead that was just, it was enough to solidify the idea that she was going to win. And I thought she was going to win. I gave up. I said, all right, well, he's done. It's over. Pack your bags and go home, Sanders. It's finished. And sure enough, when we had the primary, hey, he delivered. It was an upset from all of those polls, just like with Michigan. And I was really hoping for that in New York. That didn't happen. I was hoping for that in Pennsylvania. That didn't happen. I was hoping for that in Maryland. That didn't happen. Running out of map and running out of time. So we'll see what happens. I really, really hope that he's able to pick her up. I doubt it, though, based on the cynical... Again, this is the cynical attitude I have after those states. I'm at the end of my rope when it comes to hope right now, so... It's kind of hard to remain optimistic, because we're going to be getting a flawed candidate who has ran before and beaten before, and I think offers nothing new, nothing that anyone would want who isn't completely satisfied with how things are now. I don't think anyone is, which is why I don't understand her base of support. But it makes sense that the younger people who vote for probably only do it out of name recognition, and a lot of people probably. I know people who have never, one of them even assumed Sanders was a Republican, running in the Democratic primary. Just, things that you can obviously just call to their attention and say, hey, that's not the case, that's not true, that's not correct in any way, but they'll still think something. And it's up to people such as myself and others who, I don't want to say are educated on this matter, but certainly try to be, or try to learn something about it and know about the issues, to tell other people why we feel this way, why this is the case, all of that. And I've seen it multiple times where you'll discuss something with someone and they'll just stay one way or the other. And I'm kind of that way as well. If someone starts telling me about how great Clinton is, and I even had one person try to insist to me that Sanders couldn't win a general election despite all of these polls to the contrary. And I told them, that's unnecessary. You act like I'm going to change my mind. I mean, it's not going to happen. I'm stuck in my ways. I already did change my mind. I was a theoretical Clinton supporter back in 2013, 2014. It was before she really actually started running. And the second Cruz got in, I was all there with him. Now, the second Sanders got in, I was a little doubtful of his chances to pull this off. And I got optimistic and hopeful and just ecstatic going into Iowa and just the early voting states. And I really had hoped that he could do it. And he can still do it, but it's so just unrealistic at this point that I'm just done. Because I know these people will make it to where it's a close win, or she only loses by a few points, or she wins. In that case, it's just done. So I really am out of hope. Prefer that he win here, not holding any candle. If she does, I won't be surprised. She won her back in 2008. Her same lapdogs that supported her the first time. And I'm calling the lapdogs are people who don't know why they're voting for, other than, oh, we got to stop Trump in November. Those are the lapdogs that just jump on the bandwagon of supporting one person rather than coming to their own conclusion of who to support based off of the factors of knowing the issues and knowing where the candidate stands on them. And I can almost say with certainty that certainty, yeah, new word I made up. I'm original in that way, or in that regard. So I can say with certainty that if Sanders supporters came about as a result of his campaigning, and Clinton supporters came about as a result of her name recognition and, perceived electability, that latter group is very incorrect, need to get with the times. They need to reassess where they are. And you have some people on her side that genuinely don't want what he's proposing, and that's fine. Those are her real supporters. But they need to understand she has a high, very huge, to quote Trump, unfavorability with voters. Now Trump has the same thing, but it's bad both sides. And they're under this assumption that, oh, if we just ignore it, it'll go away, and it won't go away. I looked at polls back in May of 2012. It pretty much turned out the same way. So if it's this tight race now, what do you think it's going to be in November? And we're going to be up all night, and they're going to be counting votes. I'm predicting it's going to be ridiculous if Clinton gets the nomination. And these supporters they won't budge. They were talking about how much Trump supporters they'll do anything for him and they'll excuse anything. It's the same thing with Clinton supporters. You can throw every scandal at her. Lewinsky Gate, Whitewater, the email crap, Benghazi. They don't care. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I used to kind of dismiss these Republican attack ads and just go, oh, whatever, they're just playing around. I'm starting to agree more and more with them. Because it's ridiculous that you have someone who's had all of those scandals and then gets an entire demographic, African Americans, to support her. It makes no sense. You just back someone to back them, not because of any issue, any policy. Just back them to back them. And I understand where blacks as a whole would be turned off by Trump. I'm not big on the stance on legal immigration. I'm kind of softer on that, admittedly. I'm opposed to banning a religion, that was the thing that really got me to just go, no way. And they still, they never bring that up. They never mention it. I've even had some Clinton supporters that suggest that's a good idea. And it kind of goes back to what one article pointed out about why Sanders can't get much support from African Americans due to, I guess, the demographic. I know not me being socially conservative. I'm socially liberal without a shadow of a doubt. But it makes sense because you have them saying things of that nature, and they still want to back someone like Clinton who opposes those views. Now, social issues don't mean that much to me in the realm of voting, but I'm just saying if they're going to keep pushing the policy of, oh, let's talk about this person and that person, hopefully we'll make Trump look dumb this month and then his supporters will come to us. It's never going to happen. Sanders is the only person who can, just without any type of, I'm getting ahead of myself. He's the only person who can win, who's been proven to win in those polls, who's been proven to make upsets, as in Michigan. All of it. He's got the whole realm for him. And the longer it takes them to realize, the closer we are to just being met with a Trump presidency. This is May 29th, so we have a few more months, but going into June, I'm not excited. And I really, really don't know who's going to win California, but hope it's not Clinton, even though it probably will be. So have a good day and be safe.